So, as we enter into 2019, we find ourselves closer and closer to the latest Story of Seasons game. Marvelous's New Year's card with a teaser of a highly anticipated game by them, and none of their franchises are bigger than the Bokujo Monogatari series. So, as we enter into a new generation of Bokujo, I thought it'd be fun to create a video discussing what they could bring to this latest entry to set it apart from the 3DS games. After all, this is the first game in the series to make its way to the home console scene since Animal Parade, so that's over a decade. There are two ways I can see Marvelous doing this, and I truly hope it'll be one way and not the other. The first way in which I see Marvelous taking their next home console game is in the same style of A New Beginning and Trio of Towns. Sure, they've used the same style for 3 games in a row now, but it is an engine that they are familiar with, and the style would honestly look really good upscaled onto a 1080p display. The reason why I think they could go about it this way is because Marvelous seems to carry over one of their previous generation styles for at least one of their new generation games. For example, when looking at Harvest Moon DS, it uses the same sprite work of Friends of Mineral Town, while the next 3 games use a completely different style. You also have The Tale of Two Towns, which was the debut for the series on the 3DS, and was the final game to use the previous DS style before switching over to the new look we have now. Looking at this trend, it wouldn't surprise me if Story of Seasons for Switch turned out to be a prettier version of Trio of Towns, set in a new set of towns and a new cast of characters. That said, given the amount of development time between Trio of Towns and now, I'm actually leaning against this idea. Trio of Towns was the anniversary title for the Bokujo series and released back in 2016. The series is known for its semi-annual releases, so if the only new game coming out between that and now is the Japanese exclusive enhanced version of A Tale of Two Towns. This honestly leads me to believe that they've put a considerable amount of development time into the next game. Seeing as Marvelous is also working with new hardware, it leads me to believe that they are working more on just a simple Control-C and Control-V of the 3DS engine, and instead they are working on a brand new style. This honestly excites me because every Bokujo game has a different style that is vastly different from the previous, and it makes me wonder which way they'll go next. Could they continue with the cartoonish style they've been going with for more recent games, or could they go back to the realistic look and feel of A Wonderful Life? Or maybe they'll take another trip back to Mineral Town. The possibilities are endless. So now that we have finished talking about design and style, I guess we could discuss how they can improve the gameplay. In the most recent games, there was a very large focus on customization and being able to build up your farm and your town. While I always liked this idea of town building, I think A New Beginning went a bit overboard on this aspect. As in that game, you had to create and build the entire town. While at the time it was fun, it ended up making things feel a tad bit lifeless, as the areas in which you had to place buildings just kinda felt, well, samey. Even if you were to put some decals around, things would still not liven up. I like the idea in Story of Seasons where you can spruce up the town by adding different things such as lamps, flowers, and benches. That said, if they decide to continue on the trend of town building in this new one, I would like a few things changed. I would like to see a normal town kept similar to that of Story of Seasons or Trio of Towns, keeping a nice identity for whatever town we are in, but create hotspot areas around town and places we can build different buildings. For example, we can have all of our core stores and everything else like that, but allow us to choose where specialty stores go and allow us to build them. They could use this to bring in more villagers, similar to Tree of Tranquility and Animal Parade, by fulfilling different criteria such as building different buildings or having certain things progress in the plot. In terms of the core farming gameplay, there really isn't all that much I think needs to be changed on a core level. Everything has been simplified to a one-button press, and switching tools is pretty easy. That said, I kinda missed the trade post from Story of Seasons 2015. While it was nowhere near as convenient as a normal shipping box, I like the idea of having to focus on market trends and seeing what each region has to offer in terms of products. I think in the new entry, I'd like to see some kind of mix between the two. Perhaps you can sell your items in the normal shipping boxes to different towns, but on certain days there will be a farmer's market that acts as the same way as the trade post, where you can sell certain items from a larger amount of profit each week. Granted, this would have to be balanced out to make it not too overpowered and make using the shipping box pointless. Maybe this could be offset with not knowing what certain markets or people want until a couple of days before a farmer's market, so you're not constantly revolving your entire harvest around the market, but this is an interesting idea to think about nonetheless. A final gameplay note I would like to talk about is maybe add some side ventures to your farm. One thing I really like about all of the Story of Seasons games is the cooking. There are a ton of interesting dishes to try and make, so it would actually be pretty cool if they had the ability to have player-owned facilities, such as opening up your own restaurant or your own store. This could be a nice side income for you to make more cash on. This could also add a nice economic boost to the game, as not only do you need money for your farm upgrades, but money to upgrade your stores and or restaurants. I feel like adding multiplayer to this would go a long way, as you could be able to sell your items to other players through your store. This would go a long way with community gameplay. A final topic I want to discuss on this game is what platform it will be coming to. We already know for certain that it'll be coming to the Nintendo Switch, but I believe this could be the Bokujo series debut onto PC. No, I'm not counting the weird Farmville-like MMO it had in Japan a while back. I think this could be the first serious attempt for the series to branch out more. My biggest reason for this is because of the studio who is localizing it. Xseed is no stranger to porting Marvelous's games to PC, or other developers for that matter. You need to look no further than their amazing ports of the Trails in the Sky trilogy and the Trails of Cold Steel series. Seeing as this game will be made for home consoles in mind and not the 3DS, I feel like this would be a prime opportunity to test the waters out for the PC market. I feel like a PC release of this game will increase the lifespan of the next game pretty much indefinitely when it comes to online play and community activities. So anything short of a contract agreement between Nintendo and Marvelous, I truly believe that this game could hit PC, and I would be excited to try that out. And of course, I would probably end up buying both versions of the game if it did. So there you have it, a bit of my ramblings on what I would like out of the next Story of Seasons game. Well, at least we scratched the surface on it. I could probably go much deeper into a lot of things I think could be changed about the series, such as the awful tutorial problem and its dreadful lack of endgame content, or how the writing system could take a few notes from other games to make the game feel much more immersive, but I think I covered a nice amount for now. So please let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought of today's video. Are there any things you would like added to the next mainline entry in this series? I would love to hear from you. Also, before we go, I'd like to thank all of my patrons on Patreon for making today's video possible. If you want to support what I do, by all means check out the links down in the description below. Also, if you're new to my channel, finding me out for the first time through this video, hey, be sure to subscribe for future reviews, commentaries, let's plays, and more. And as always everyone, thanks for watching.